What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Caleb and this is ChatGPT versus me, NFL edition week 9. Brief little recap from last week. Me and Chat both did bad. It was a weekend that I was looking forward to with college football and with NFL football, and we just both shit the bed. So brief little recap. ChatGPT had Minnesota Vikings minus 5.5 versus LA Rams. Obviously, the LA Rams won that game. Minnesota lost. I think that's 2 in a row now. Then they had the Dolphins minus 3 versus the Cardinals. Tua's first game back, even though he was it was hinted that he was gonna play, but there was like a last minute thing that he did play. So, but Kyler Murray and the Dolphins survived, and now they have 2 wins in a row. Then they have they picked the 49ers minus 5.5 versus the Cowboys. Cowboys, I don't know what to say. Y'all should just give up this season. Y'all are bad. Y'all are bad. 49ers, y'all kind of survived though. Dak Prescott and them were coming back. I will give the Cowboys that. But yeah, they start slow and then they just get hot in the last fourth quarter, and they did this with the Ravens too, and it's just like, why didn't y'all do this all game? Y'all, coming from a Texans fan, y'all could have won this game easily. Brock Purdy and them, he was off. He was so off to that game. They still came out and won. So then they sprinkled the Chiefs and Raiders under 42.5, which won't go against their record. That did not win. They scored more. So with my picks, I had Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdown passing. That hit in the third quarter against the Browns, even though the Browns won that game. Shout out to Jameis Winston. Then I had the Panthers versus the Broncos. I had the Panthers plus 10.5 or plus 10. Even though I knew that the Panthers sucked, I did not expect the Broncos to be that dominant that game. Shout out to Bo Nix, Oregon legend. But Panthers and Bryce Young, I feel for y'all, especially you, Bryce Young, but y'all had to do better. Y'all just did play awful. And then I had the Bears versus the Commanders over 43.5. Boy, my prediction was that it was going to be a high-scoring game. What we got, I don't care. That last final play is all I'm going to say. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. And shout out to the Bears defender for celebrating or talking all that mess before the play even started. So, yeah, wow. That's all I'm going to say. Hail Mary. With that being said, that brings ChatGPT's official record, or 15-13, and mine 11-15-2. So, not too far off. ChatGPT's picks, we have 4 picks this week. Their first one is Ravens, minus 9 versus the Broncos. They picked the Ravens, obviously. Baltimore, known for their strong rush attack led by Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, is expected to dominate. Denver's offense has shown weaknesses at high-caliber teams. Suggests the Ravens could cover a significant spread here. I do not like this pick. The Ravens are playing horrible against bad teams. I'm not saying the Broncos are bad teams, but they're not great. They're winning games. I'll say that. The Broncos are winning games. Bo Nix had an incredible October. But the Ravens just lost to the Browns. They lost to the Raiders. Usually the games that are easy gimme games where they're high, their spread is high, they never cover it. So that is be careful with it. Even though it's a little high-ish, I would say I'd be advised, be careful that the Broncos and Bo Nix are playing well. Sean Payton has them looking great. That's all I'm going to say about that one. But I do expect the Ravens to win that game. I believe it is in Baltimore. But, again, the Broncos have been playing well, and the Ravens have been kind of struggling. So, their next pick is Patriots plus 3.5 versus the Titans. New England showing resilience and defense improvements is projected to cover the spread against the struggling Titans offense. The game is likely to stay close, providing a value at 3.5. Drake May versus Will Levis, really. Drake May has been playing better than Jacoby Brissett. I don't think they've won a game though yet, but the Titans haven't been good at all this whole season. Everybody predicting them to be a little better than what they've been playing. A lot of sports cards investors, me included, have a lot of money in Will Levis. But he's over there making mayonnaise commercials. So this game is going to be, I believe, a low-scoring game. Patriots defense is actually pretty good. Titans offense is really bad. So, yeah. And they just lost DeAndre Hopkins too. So, anyway, Buccaneers +9 versus the Chiefs. That is surprising. Although the Kansas City has a powerful offense, Tampa Bay's defense has performed well against elite quarterbacks. The Buccaneers might keep it competitive, making them a worthwhile bet at +9. It all depends on what Baker Mayfield you get and what NFL referees you get, if you know what I mean. The Buccaneers have shown that they can be a dangerous team, especially in the playoffs. If they make it to the playoffs, you don't want to see the Buccaneers. No matter how many people say, oh, it's just Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. They are scary. They are scary. They have beaten some tough teams. Chiefs obviously are defeated, but no one I wouldn't say no one expected it. I would say some people are a little surprised how good and well the Buccaneers can be when their offense is clicking. How great that the Baker Mayfield has shown that it wasn't him when he played for the Browns. It was basically the Browns' curse. And everybody, it's shown with Deshaun Watson, who was great with the Houston Texans. Now he goes to the Browns, and he was absolutely awful. But Baker Mayfield, the Buccaneers, they're rolling. That offense is clicking. The defense is solid. I expect this game to be really close. I actually kind of like this pick. It is the Chiefs. They still may win, the Chiefs. Most likely. But I expect the Buccaneers to cover +9. That's a great pick. And then they have Ravens versus the Seahawks under 48.5. Both teams' defense improvements and slower game management suggest a low score than the market predicts. This matchup could offer value for underbettors. I just think, honestly, the offenses are bad, especially the Rams. Matthew Stafford struggling. Granted, they are getting Puka Nacua. He did come back last week, and now he did pretty good too. But they are still struggling. Seahawks, on the other hand, Geno Smith, they're in that limbo area where I guess you kind of say like the Broncos and the Buccaneers, where you don't, depending on how many games, depending on, I would say honestly, week 9 or week 10, what your record is what, if you're going to continue to pursue the playoffs or if you're just going to say, you know what, we'll try again next year. I think the Seahawks are probably going to lose this game and then try again next year without Geno Smith. I think they draft a quarterback. Granted, Geno Smith is a good, capable quarterback. And Drew Lock, I wish Drew Lock got a chance. But I don't see them with this team, especially with Geno under center, doing anything as in making the playoffs this year or winning the Super Bowl, which is the main goal for every team. But yeah, and the Rams, now you think you need to move on from Matthew Stafford after this season. Matthew Stafford, great quarterback. Granted, he was with the Lions his whole career, and I think he should have left a long time ago because he had the talent. They had the talent. They just couldn't put it together. But the Rams need to move on. I don't know why my voice cracked. Need to move on from Matthew Stafford. And I think after this season, they probably will also. So, this pick, You never know. What depends on what Matthew Stafford and Geno Smith you're going to get. I honestly think it's going to go over. They may put up 60 points either, maybe a 30-something score game, and they go into overtime. I don't know. Now let's move on to my picks. This is actually kind of like a video. I've had a lot to talk about. With my pick, I had the Texans plus 2.5 versus the Jets. The Jets stink. No excuses. Y'all fired Josh Coach for no absolute reason. Aaron Rodgers, hang it up also, man. It's time. Move on. Your O-line is bad. Your defense is bad. Y'all have lost 5 in a row, and now you're fighting a young, a hungry Houston Texans team. Think about that. Rodgers can be old Aaron Rodgers when he has time. He does look good. But this season is not great. He's probably had his worst season his whole entire life with 37 interceptions. Granted, the Texans are coming off a short week, and I think they'll be playing 10 games in... Or 10 games. 3 games in 10 weeks. Or, god dang it. 3 games in 10 days. So, this could be a dangerous game for the Texans being due to fatigue. They lost Stephon Diggs. He's out for the season. Granted, Tank Dell should come alive. John Mitchell should come alive, so I should know a lot about the Texans. What's his name? Nico Collins is this is his last game. He will be out, so he should come back next year. And theoretically, give me the Texans plus 2.5. I think the Texans go to New York and win this game, and then you'll hear a lot of boos. You'll hear a ton of boos if the Texans do win this game. You'll hear a lot of boos in the first half. The Texans start blowing them out. But with that being said, the Texans do need to win this game. They do need to win. They've lost to, who did they lose to? My fake fan. They lost to Green Bay. They lost to Minnesota. Well, they got their asses whooped by Minnesota. They could have won the game by Green Bay, but just poor management by D'Amico Ryans and Texans defense. They just look tired. Call timeouts, man. You have 3 of them. The Texans need to win this game. C.J. Stroud has been struggling. The offensive line has been struggling. C.J. Stroud, these past, I think, last 2 weeks, he only had 87 yards with the Green Bay Packers. His worst game of his career. And then last week, he was so off. It was really weird. It was really strange. Like something was either hurting him or something. He was just offensive line. That left guard, get rid of him. The guy that's blocking for CJ's blind side besides Tunsil, the guy next to him was a Green, I think. Get rid of that guy. He was getting his butt whooped every single play. It was embarrassing. And then they took him out, and the guy behind him was getting his butt whooped. And then they brought it back in, and then he continued to get your butt whooped. You're lucky that CJ Stroud is decently strong and young, because if he was, let's say, Matthew Stafford's age or Aaron Rodgers' age, he'd be injured already. How many times has CJ Stroud has ran to keep the play alive because the offensive line is not blocking for him? And then the penalties. The penalties are killing the Texans' drives. Clean it up. If y'all want to be Super Bowl contenders like everybody predicted y'all to be this season, clean it up. Offensive line needs to clean it up. We don't need a wide receiver, so don't even think about trading for one. We don't need one. We have plenty. Nico Collins is injured for a little bit. Tank Dell is... Now that Stephon Diggs is injured, even though it sucks, Tank Dell should get a lot more reps. Noah Brown, John Mitchell. We don't need a wide receiver. We have good wide receivers. CJ Stroud has played with them. He knows them. Anywho, let's move on before I continue to ramble. Jesus. My next pick is Chargers Browns over 41.5. Jameis Winston cooked last week. He cooked the Ravens. In his first start of the season, he made a statement. But, with that being said, he is playing with the Browns. So, Baker Mayfield had great games. Deshaun Watson, even though it wasn't many, he had great games too. Jameis Winston also played with the Buccaneers where he had almost 18 interceptions or 20-something interceptions. And then also 20-something touchdowns. It was a weird season for him. that Jameis Winston, I believe, shows up this game. But also that Jameis Winston can throw touchdowns. Justin Herbert and the Chargers beat on bad teams. That's all they've beaten was bad teams. They haven't beaten good teams. But their defense is really good. Only the Steelers have scored 20 points on the Chargers. Only the Steelers have scored 20 points on the Chargers. We're in week 9. Only the Steelers have scored 20 points. Everybody else has been less. The games that they've lost have been less than 20 points. Think about that. The Chargers defense is really, really good. Really good. With that being said, Jameis Winston is an animal, and he loves 50-50 balls. I would say that. Hence why he has a lot of interceptions. If your man is one-on-one, 50-50, and he thinks you're going to win, he's going to throw it to you. It's a coin toss, I know, but give me the Browns over 41.5, mainly because I think Jameis Winston still continues his streak on hot touchdowns. Chargers, Justin Herbert's just going to play catch-up, and I think the Browns win this game, honestly. But give me the over 41.5. My next pick is Bengals -7 versus the Raiders. The Bengals need this win. They absolutely need it. They absolutely need it. Their season's not done yet. But if they lose this game, their season is over. Give it up. Try again next year. Get an offensive line for Joe Burrow. Get a better defense. And figure out your wide receivers. That diva lockership is killing the Bengals. Clean it up. Y'all are lucky y'all are playing the Raiders. With that being said, the Raiders have beaten the Ravens. Don't take them lightly, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Do not take this game lightly. This game could be embarrassing for y'all. Give me the Bengals -7, but be careful with this game. Be careful with the Raiders. Joe Burrow is having a phenomenal season. A phenomenal season, despite the record. 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,993 yards passing. Phenomenal season. You don't want this season to go to waste for Joe Burrow. If he gets in the playoffs, though, they are scary. You do not want to face them. They had a tough schedule at the beginning of the season, hence why some of their losses are asterisk. I think the first week they played the Chiefs. Chiefs are undefeated. Then they played the Ravens. Ravens are good. They played a lot of their tough games already at the beginning of their schedule. Now, besides the division games, they should be coasting. And they should win this game by a lot. My voice keeps cracking. I need some water. But with the last pick, we have Chicago versus Arizona. I'm going to try it again. Let the ball fly. Over 44.5. I love this game. This is my game of the week. Both teams very similar. Cardinals looking for 3 wins in a row. Bears coming off a crucial Hail Mary loss. You should see the fans, that whole sideline. Caleb Williams, the coaches, everybody. As soon as that Hail Mary play was completed and the Commanders were running on the field, the Bears looked like distraught. They were just like, they could not, obviously no one could believe what just happened. 3 seconds left. But they had the win. They went on a great drive, only with 3 seconds left, and then Jaden Daniels and Washington Commanders pull that out. That being said, y'all's defender should be punished and should not play this game. Talking to the crowd, not even paying attention to the play. What the hell are you doing? You're a professional. Come on, kid. I say kid because I'm 30 years old, so I don't know how old you are, honestly. You may be older than me or maybe the same age, but I believe you're younger than me. Granted, you make more money than me. But come on, man. You're a professional player. The play has started. Pay attention to the game. You cost your team a loss. And I say I'm coming after him, even though there was multiple players on the field that could have probably done something else. But he's the one that also touched the ball. Like, come on, man. If you were paying attention the whole time, you could have easily broke that play up. and it would have been game over. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't be writing this long. But Arizona has been playing great. Chicago, they just beat the Dolphins in a back-to-back game. Chicago did not score as much points last week as much as I wanted them to, and as much as I thought they would. I'm giving them a second chance. I'm giving Caleb Williams a second chance. Kyler Murray is going to go off. Either he's going to throw a lot of interceptions or throw a lot of touchdowns. There's no in between. He doesn't have no alright games. He has either a very great game or a very bad game. Caleb Williams' wide receiver core and offense is clicking. DeAndre Swift is rolling. Give me the over 44.5. And shout out to James Conner for staying healthy, man. Keep it up. I really thought you were going to get injured. I even got your backup for fantasy. I had to drop him because you proved me wrong. Shout out to you, man. Great job. With that being said, those are my picks for this week. Sorry if this is a long video. It's a long rant. If you like these long rants and long videos, let me know in the comments what y'all's best picks are. Are y'all riding? Are y'all fading with ChatGPT or me? And see y'all next time, guys.